Good morning, everyone. You're welcome to this special conversation proudly organized by Owllup. My name is Blessing Iyare. We're going to be having bold conversation, which is necessary for a better society.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Samuel, and I'm excited to be co-hosting this conversation with Blessing. And the conversation we're going to have today is one that touches every Nigerian home in one way or the other. We're talking about pressure. I mean, who faces more pressure between boys or girls? And I'm excited about the conversation already, and I think we can create change with this already.
We are honored to be joined by four incredible voices. We have Nsem, we have Nampa, Abdul Malik, and also Ofonime. They will be sharing their personal experience, talking about societal norms from education, roles, and how this topic actually affects every member of our society.
Okay, and before we dive right into the conversation, I think I'll use this opportunity to give a shout out to Olap for creating the space and opportunity for us to have this conversation that is going to change the life of somebody who's going to watch this just after by the time we're done.
Okay, thank you so much, Samuel, for that. Now, let's begin by hearing each and every of our guests. So please introduce yourself briefly and tell us when you hear the word pressure, especially in the Nigerian context. We would like you to relate it, especially to gender, right? What's the first thing that comes to mind? So we'll start with our beautiful Nsem. Thank you.
Um, Thank you, everyone. My name is Msen. I'm a communication specialist, and I'm happy to be here. So, in the Nigerian context, when I hear pressure, when it comes to men, I hear pressure and I'm thinking provide, because that's the sort of pressure men face, boys face in our society. Then, when I hear pressure in the Nigerian context as relates to women, I'm hearing get married, keep it together, whatever the cost is, keep the marriage, keep, it's like there's a hierarchy of what you should aspire to. You go to school, you graduate, and then get married and keep the home at whatever cost.
Wow, beautiful. So yes, let's hear from you, Mr. Nampak.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Nan Kwak Chirfat. I would want to see myself as one of the biggest thing happening to Plateau State. And as to what pressure is, to men, to women, to boys, to girls, pressure differs. As Nsem said, riding on what she said earlier, to men is that there is a certain expectation on you to be able to meet up to a certain degree of whatsoever you're doing, either in academics, at the place of work, on the street, in the home, you should. And that's why sometimes you usually hear man up, why will you allow a girl to do this, so for a boy it's that you should be ahead when you are put vis-a-vis a lady, a girl. You should be ahead. You should be able to hold her hand. You should be able to be the boss, and to the girl, to the female folks, is that your aspiration should be limited, in as much as you want to be whatsoever you want to be. Remember that there is a boy, when you are doing something, they will say, don't you know that it's a man's world, so do it gingerly, don't be so fast about it, so it differs in as much as every gender faces this pressure, but the degree to which a man and a woman faces pressure is different, and you cannot compare them. All of them in their right senses are a lot, you know when it comes to the lady, it's a lot. When it comes to the man, it's a lot. But we should just see it that everybody is facing pressure in their own way, right? So I will not say that one gender is facing more than another gender.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Like in Sam and Nampak has rightly mentioned, we hear provide when it comes to the men. We hear meet up. We hear man up. And for women, we hear get married, be limited. It's a man's word. Now, moving on to quickly to Abdul Malik, I would want you to relate this pressure to like personal experience, right? When you hear the word pressure in Nigeria, what comes to mind?
I would like to say that pressure is a silent thief. it steals the future.
Mm.
When let me contextualize it to the Nigerian perspective. When you hear pressure, it's all about either do this or you're going to face the consequences. That's from a parental perspective.
Mm.
Now, from a societal perspective, you hear either be this, be a man, toughen up, men don't cry, and what have you. So that's from the side of the male. From the side of the female, growing up in the far north, I've seen so many potential, so many girls um that are that ought to be where in the spotlight as far as their future is concerned. But while finishing secondary school or while they are in SS1, SS2, SS3, they're just sent off to another man's house to start a home. That's pressure. And it's something that we need to look at it. And I'm glad that we are having this timely conversation. My name is Abdul Malik Yahya. I'm a creative writer.
Thank you so much. And now, to Ofonime, when you hear pressure, would like you to add your voice to this conversation.
Okay, thank you, Blessing. Hi, everyone. So my name is Brown Ofonime. I'm a community builder. Talking about pressure, we always miss a point when it comes to pressure because pressure means redefining strength, something you already have, but there's a push for you to go further. And now, in the Nigeria context, pressure can be for a boy. You already have, the limited resources given to you by your parents or by the society, but you need to still push through because the society wants you to be more, and you also want to prove to the society that you can be more. And now to the girls, you already have the voice, that voice, every girl, wherever, globally, African, black or white, you already have that inner voice. As you're coming into the world, you're already pressurized to be that girl that somebody will look up to, a role model. But now when it comes to the issue of pressure, you see a girl trying to outshine the other girl, and and from there the competition starts. So the word pressure, when we contextualize it, we'll see that the boys is different, the girls is also different. But when we merge it together, it's still the same word, redefining the strength that is already given to you. Thank you. I hope we'll talk more on this.
I'm really enjoying the conversation already. Beautiful conversation. But I want to throw a question to Abdul Malik. I mean, because you are a mental health person and you talk about behavioral change, and you talked about something about regarding boys, not being vulnerable, because in society that pressure is there. So, do you think, or what's your perspective? Do you think guys should also show vulnerability? Is it a sign of weakness, or some people say right now we'll talk about it in the aspect of toxic masculinity. Do guys also should they seek for help when they need help? What's your perspective on that?
So my perspective on that is everyone is vulnerable, honestly. So it all depends on whether you let it show or not. Now, seeking for help is not a sign of weakness, as we've come to understand it, because you will realize that when pressure is too much on someone, they end up going or venturing into negative vices. Things like drug abuse and what have you. Now, that's people seeking help in a way, in a negative way. So, which brings me back to the word pressure. There's a positive pressure and a negative pressure. It all depends on how you look at it and from which perspective, you decide to call it. You decide to call it pressure. So, there's strength in weakness. Yes, boys or men or whoever, even girls should seek for help. Try and understand that seeking for help is not that you're vulnerable. Now, that is where awareness comes in. And if with conversations like this, we are able to bring it out there. We are able to let people know that, yes, you can seek for help and there's nothing wrong in it.
Okay, thank you so much for saying that. I got something you said. You said seeking for help is not a sign of weakness. And I think this is something that we need to amplify so that guys would know that when they seek for help, it doesn't mean that they are weak. And this will lead me to my next question because now statistics shows that, especially in Nigeria, we have more men dying than women. I think you would agree with me.
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you see men So do we think it's the pressure? And I would want Nampak to put his voice to that. Do you think it's the pressure of maybe the society? What is happening? Why do we have more men, not like he said, owning up to that emotion or showing that, oh, that vulnerability? And is there a linkage? Yes.
Okay, so maybe let me begin with by saying, have you ever seen your dad cry?
No.
Have you ever seen your mom crying?
Mm,
I've
Yes.
actually seen my dad cry. I've seen my mom cry.
But how often do you see your dad
It
crying?
was an Eden
You
situation,
understand? So that's just trying to express an emotion, right?
mhm.
And that is, for me at this point. Well, I may not be a scientist to know, maybe that is the,
Correlation.
science behind it. But sincerely, men bottle up a lot of pressure on the inside of them. A lot of emotions that need to be expressed are not expressed. Even as simple, quote and unquote, as simple as the emotions of love. You see, man, I don't want to show that I love her so that she will not start doing, everybody's, you just want to show that you are tough.
Mhm.
I mean, and something is on the inside of you. You just need to express it. How many men are crying? How many men are going for go, let's go when we meet our psychologists, therapists, and then back end, just ask them what's the percentage of men and women coming for help. You see that only few men, are seeking help. A lot of and for me, when you have a lot of pressure on the inside of you, it contributes to that's my own layman thinking. It contributes to so many sickness. That's why you will just be having headache unnecessarily. From headache, your eyes, from your eyes to your stomach, your chest, your heart. And then before you know it, you see a lot of men, falling ill. And even when they are ill, how many men, you know, get up and go to the hospital to seek for
Beautiful.
help? No, I don't want to go. My wife just gave birth. I want her to do this. You are sick on the inside, even if it's physical sickness. Oh, I have school fees to pay. So why will I go to the hospital while I need to send my child to school? A lot of men, perhaps
Sacrifice
because of
themselves.
societal expectation,
Mhm.
is leading a lot of men having these experiences. But men really need to seek help. Women, if a woman is not happy about a thing, she'll talk about it openly. We've seen our mothers, come out to challenge us, challenge our fathers on a lot of things. I mean, even for some of us, we've seen our girlfriends challenge us on a lot of things, right?
Yeah,
But you
true.
see, for guys, you just I'll catch her. You just be keeping the thing on the inside of you. It is killing you. Come out and talk about it.
Mhm.
Get to someone, meet someone, and talk. So, okay, something happened to me recently, some months back. I was just doing an assessment of
Okay.
how far I've come, my life, my family, and my future, you know, plans and expectation. And I was speaking with my girlfriend, and I didn't know when I busted into tears.
Mm.
I was trying to calm myself, but I kept going on. If I'm about to say a word, I'll keep. But after doing all of that, and after a while, I saw that there was a certain degree of peace on the inside of me. I
Mhm.
don't. That was the first time I did that.
and there will be.
But there is a certain degree of peace and
Calmness.
calmness
Yeah.
on the inside of me.
You let go of the
You
emotions.
And
see,
you know when
Just
you
to ask, do
Okay,
you think
yes.
if you had done that in the presence of your male friends, they would have judged you as weak?
perhaps for some of them, but I have some of my friends. I come out openly to challenge them, right? And that would have depending on the person, right? For some of my friends, yes, they will say, guy, why you did form my hand? That's the first thing someone will tell you. Why you
Yeah.
did form my hand? I will need to follow your hand. If I must have my peace, if I
Exactly.
must be fine, at
I
this
must
point in my
leave.
life, right?
Exactly.
I prioritize my health, my ability to live long more than anything you think.
Manning up.
No, I don't want to man up. Allow me to woman up, if that is a word. But
Okay.
just so that I can have my peace, I
Beautiful.
can do what I need to do as per when I need to do it and live long. Please, men, you should live long. You need to live long. The amount of men dying, we have a lot of widows, and the amount of men dying is too much. So please, men, if you're watching this, take out time to cry. Thank you.
Thank you
And,
so
and
I
I
don't
think
know.
I,
I
okay.
think
I
one
don't know
key
about
thing.
crying, to be honest, because
Well, it's an escape to me because
it
I feel
is.
when you bottle up all these emotions, it will definitely pop out. So
Okay,
it's
so
either through crying or through a negative means. Crying is
okay, I don't think crying is the only way to let out emotions. And I'm
Okay.
saying this because if we're not careful, this advocacy will get a pushback from the society. If you follow the conversation on Twitter, they're telling you that every time they want men to open up, they say be vulnerable, cry. That who told them that's what men want, right? And then people are saying forcing men to cry and show emotions is making our men fluid, which is a way of saying it's making them feminine, it's turning them, and people are making an argument that the society needs men that are, strong, bold, and all of that. So I don't think crying is the only way. Personally, do I believe crying? Yes, absolutely. But I also believe in just regular conversations like this, right? If my head is full and I just talk with a friend, I'm okay. I don't necessarily have to cry. If I see a good movie, I'm okay. If I read a good book, I'm okay. So I feel like when we're talking about how vulnerable men should be, we shouldn't be pushing cry, cry, cry down their throats because then we'll get a pushback, right?
Beautiful.
We should advocate for men to open up where they feel safe.
Comfortable.
Okay,
For
yeah.
Okay.
some,
So
it might be a mentor. For others, it's their pastor. For others, it's
Their
just.
partner,
Do you understand?
whatever.
Just
so
let's not force the
find
cry,
something
cry,
that
cry
works for
down
you.
the
So that
Exactly.
means we can say do what works.
Yeah.
I mean, and creating
Exactly.
a balance, right?
Yeah, that's a better way to put it than the constant cry, cry, cry. There will be a problem with that advocacy.
Well, I am of the opinion that crying, is like pouring water on your head. When you're
Okay.
crying, you let go. That inner peace is like, you're having an headache and they pour water on your head. It calms you.
But that's for you.
No, not for me, not
Okay.
necessarily for me.
Okay.
I'm not a crying person.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
For me, I would like to coil up, watch a good movie. In fact, eat well. Do you understand?
Beautiful.
But the truth of the matter is that when you cry, now let me tell you a personal experience. When my dad died, when they called me as the first daughter that my dad has passed on, I did not cry. I was just so angry and all that. And I wanted to just leave everyone and go in and cook good food and eat. That is what happens to me.
Interesting.
But when we were now relating to members, my uncles, everybody cried that day. And I couldn't cry. I could not cry. I wanted to cry. Then I started having this panging headache. And at the end of the day, when I was all alone, I started thinking of the memories and the tears started flowing. Now, what I'm saying is that men ought to cry. You know why? It releases this gland inside of them. It gives them peace and it makes them know that they are all actually vulnerable. They are like a woman too when they cry. So when you now say they should not cry, it gives them another emotions above crying, above vulnerability.
Okay.
Okay.
I
For me, I think I understand why Umsen is talking about this in this way because, when we say men should cry, cry, I think it can turn, it can flip, we can flip it because people might not be comfortable seeing men cry. Is that what you mean?
Uh, what I'm actually, it's
Okay.
like we're telling men be vulnerable, but we're giving them a template on how to
How
be
to be
vulnerable,
vulnerable.
Yes.
Oh.
So
which I think doesn't work.
yeah, I think I understand what you're
If
saying.
crying works for some men, absolutely
Beautiful. Yeah.
knock yourself
Go
out.
for
Cry
it.
in secret, in public, however you want to do it. But let's not make it like
This is
if
the
they
way.
don't cry, then they're not being vulnerable.
Exactly. This is the way. So
Yeah,
whatever
that's the
works for
problem
you
I
as
have
a
with
man.
that. And if
Do it.
you're speaking of it, unless there's like studies that back this up, someone may see this and say, "You're a woman talking about how women should cry. Are you a man? Have you lived in a man's world?" It's like a man trying to educate or talk about something like menstruation or other female related. We see women call them out all the time to say, you can't be a man, you don't have a vagina, why are you telling me about my vagina and stuff like that. So I don't think, I strongly advocate for everyone to be vulnerable in their own way. But I don't think shoving crying down everybody's throat is the way to go. That's just my take.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we have a bit of perspective to this.
Mm.
I'm going to now go over to Mrs. Ofonime Brown,
Okay.
because we're talking about women's development now, educating girls. All right. That's a popular conversation now. Right now, if you're a Nigerian, you know what I mean. So that's because we've seen deficiencies in society where it looks like before now women were, we look down on women. Women don't have the priority. So where do you think we can draw a balance? Do you think the men are being left out in this conversation? Because now there are no behavioral programs for men now. It's more women advocacy or gender, and then women education, women development, women's rights. I think, do you think the boys are being left out, the men? Where can we
Well,
draw a balance?
yeah, drawing a balance is universal. Okay. Now I'll come back to that. Now, when we talk about women, education, girls, everyone is out there advocating for girls to come into, let's say STEM or AI, technology related courses. Now, the World Forum during the year 2022 mentioned that we have 2%, from 2% to 20% of girls in tech related subjects. And that brought about this conversation where the international bodies had to look through and bring girls into it, advocate for girls to come in and do what they feel it's a boys' world and a man's world. And like me now talking, while I was growing up, I can tell you that I was the only girl in computer science in the university as at that time.
Interesting. The
Yeah.
entire department.
Not the entire, in computer
Oh,
science.
okay.
Okay. So then
Okay.
we add mathematics, statistic, and computer.
Okay.
Okay. So it was like, everybody will be like, oh, this one is scoring this and that. And in fact, if you even get to ask a question, you don't get the answers because they feel you should not even say, you should not even be there. Do you understand? Everybody was just pushing you aside. And so when this came up, and it was the year of the COVID, and we were all at home, nothing to do, we had to just sort out and start teaching our girls to come in. So if you're a guy and you feel, oh, it's not balanced, why not create something? Like this morning, I was having a conversation around AI, and I was so impressed that a guy is coming up to train other boys on AI, tech related subject. And that is something you see other women. Recently, this week, somebody reached out that she wants to train 1 million girls in STEM in her community. And I was like, wow, this is a woman doing this. How many men have we seen relating or asking questions on how to bring boys into what they feel, or they've done medical science and all that, they've done what's this thing, space science, and they want to train, they want to impact. We don't always have that conversation. But if we have men that are willing to do this, of course, I've always seen politicians going around throwing money, giving money to people all over the community, but I've not seen an educated space or educated community where you see, oh, we are bringing boys to train. It's just of recent I started seeing that, and it's just one flyer that I've seen so far. Now, talking about the global aspect perspective, you see the global nation coming into Africa because they're looking out for talents in Africa. They feel, oh, we think well, we act well, and we also build well. And they're coming in here to sought after and to bring our people over there. And now the JAPA system now that has been on for a while, where do you think what do you think will happen to Africa at large in the year 2030? So we should also look into that when we are talking about all these issues of reaching out to girls and also reaching out to boys. The balance is already being created by women, but which of the men are trying to bring in the balance for the boys?
Beautiful,
So
beautiful conversation. Okay, Abdul Malik, you would like to add something?
Yeah, so if I am to add to this, of course, there are a lot of opportunities, or there's a lot of gap for men to bring in these initiatives to support boys. But I think the funding opportunities are more, tied to girls than boys. That's me speaking from a realistic point of view.
Yeah.
However, when we talk about tech, AI, or supporting girls, or the pressure that they face, when you go to the grassroots, when you go to the communities that maybe it's hard for them to even get a device, so to speak, um, I think we should look at more community driven projects that will impact them. Let's talk about educating them in terms of their creative skills. Let's talk about educating them in terms of their what works for them, local problems for local solutions to local
Mm-hmm.
problems. And I think we need to look at it and bring both. Let's not just say, okay, I will do girls alone. Why not, instead of 1 million girls, do 500 men, or 600 girls, or 700 girls, and bring in 300 boys? Do you understand? So I think there needs to be balance when it comes to that, because really there's a threat when it comes to boys not being included in space.
Absolutely.
I have a creative community, but I work more with girls than boys. That's the honest truth, and it's because the girls are willing to learn, they're ready to learn, and the boys feel a bit since it's we don't have much opportunity in this, let's just give up and look for. But there are boys that are trying every day to see that they're included in things like this. I think that's
Okay,
just
so let me add. Um, I work in the development space, right? And for us in the development space, most of the fundings that we have, that that come that we work with, are mostly foreign donors,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in the global world right now, there is a shift for greater support for women because, and this is not debatable, over time, women have been marginalized. Till
Beautiful.
today,
That's
if
true.
you go to grassroots communities, women are very, very much marginalized, right? So, and that is why when you are doing your program design, as a project manager, your project design, you have to include. In fact, there are some funding
Gender.
that will come specifically to tell you that we need 60% women and 40%
40%.
women, or even 70% women engagement on this project, to that, because over time women have been marginalized, and because of this syndrome, men are stronger than women, men can do it better than women, all of these perception, that have influenced that. However, in while those are foreign funded, those are foreign aids coming to Africa,
Yeah.
Nigeria, for instance, we as a people, what are we doing with our own money,
Mm.
Mm.
right? He made mention of something. I think she was the one that use your. You see, people come to communities to build, and say, "Oh, I want to do this project." Someone want to train 1 million girls, but that's her own personal money.
Money.
So,
What are you using your fund
with
to?
all of the quote and unquote big men that we have, who are they empowering with their monies? Why won't they? While on one side we're getting international funding to carry out some of these projects, what are we doing with our local
Local
funding? And
funds.
that is why, for me, I will keep advocating that. Look, we need to stop even collecting foreign grants. We need to also start looking inwardly. How can we generate resources so that we can use these resources to solve our own problems
Programs.
as they are? Right? I mean, until you go to grassroots community, then you realize that it's true. They should continue this conversation where we are calling on more girls to be trained. Because I mean, I'm from the north. I lived my life all through, from birth, primary, secondary, university in the north. I think the first time I was out of the north while in the university, travel to the southwest, the southeast, while in the university. But I served in the southwest, you know, that was where I saw that, oh, you see men and women, especially in the south west, men and women, everybody is struggling there. But for us in the north, and especially in the far north, you see that women are very, very much marginalized. You
Mm-hmm.
go from in every structure, both in academics, in politics, in even in religion. Oh my God, that's another conversation that we don't even want to start. Women are marginalized everywhere. So, yes, while in the bigger cities, we see that, yeah, there is an increasing call, for women to be empowered and the rest, it's not the same in the grassroots. While it may look as if boys are being marginalized in the big cities and the rest, if you go to the grassroots, boys are kings. So, boys are the lord and emperors, but we need to, as you said, we need to find a balance so that in the next 10, 20, 30 years, we have a Nigeria where both men and women, have the opportunity according to their capability to do what they need to do, right?
Exactly.
But as it stands now, it's not the same anywhere, both in the big cities and in grassroots communities. There is a wide gap, and for us in the cities, sincerely, it's increasing. It looks as if boys are becoming more marginalized in the cities because go to our offices.
And that's where balance comes
Go
in.
to our offices, right? You see that,
Yes.
especially for some of us in the civil society space, women are looking like they are more in the civil
More.
society
But
than men.
the truth is,
Even in some
Uh-huh.
organizations.
But
It's looking.
coincidentally, most civil society are
Men are
founded
the
by
head.
men.
Men,
Exactly.
So
And even
and-
headed
I
by
feel like
men.
it's an illusion. This illusion of the women are now surpassing men.
Yes.
No, it's it's
the
not true.
truth
The
is,
data speaks to it, and it's not true. But we don't have to wait till
There is now an imbalance.
ahead. So that's where the balance comes in, right? If you're
Yes.
doing something, you're implementing a project. I feel like the nuances of each community also comes to play, right? I've been to communities where there are more girls out of school, where parents would rather send their boys to school because, oh, come on, the girl will go and
Get
marry.
married.
What's the point?
Exactly.
She's supposed to be hawking and supporting,
Learn
bringing
how to
money to
cook.
the hair and stuff like that. But we've also seen communities where we have more boys out of school.
Yeah.
So I feel like in such instances, the nuances of those
Of each
communities
community
should
should play.
come into
Yeah.
play. We
Exactly.
shouldn't wait till women are ahead before bringing balance.
Yeah,
So
I
there
agree.
should always be like a check. So like he pointed, local problem, local solution.
Exactly.
So whatever context. So if you're going to the north, do like a pilot study. What is the problem? How do you
Exactly.
balance it? So if there are more boys out of school, then you know what to
Okay.
do. If there are more
Exactly.
girls, don't just
Yeah.
assume.
Thank you.
but
Don't
the truth
assume.
is that I have a team and I prefer working with women than
Why?
men.
Why is that?
Okay.
I was
Why would
coming
you
to
say
that.
that?
Why do you prefer working
because
with
they are easygoing.
women?
They want to be in that space.
Okay.
I've attempted to bring this balance severally, but when the boys come, it's as if they are not organized.
Okay, just for clarity, right? What space exactly are you talking about? Is it your poetry or
Yes,
your
my creative community.
Okay. So
Yes.
would you also say you said you prefer working with women,
Because
right?
I've
Because they are
tried
more
with
willing
men.
and we are more agreeable. Is that it? Because
I
women are
tried.
not likely to
No, I
challenge
tried not
an
the challenge. They do
authority, an
challenge me.
opinion.
They do
Okay.
challenge me,
As
Okay.
in,
and I prefer the opinions.
as
Okay.
in,
But the men
what you're
are not
trying to say.
organized. They are trying
But
to jump into several things.
Is
at the
this
same time,
community
and
paid
focus
for?
is not.
Do you pay them stipend? Do you pay
I do.
salaries,
I do
allowances?
not salaries, allowances. I
Okay.
do give them stipends from
Is
time
it
to time.
consistent? Is it every month?
Not every month, but I can say that if there is an opportunity, I push them there too.
Okay, then I think
Be
maybe we
visible.
see why the men are not likely to get into that
Exactly,
space.
because they
a
want
man will
money.
not put in his time to something that wouldn't bring him income. Again,
Because of the
puts
society.
pressure for him to
He
provide.
has a girlfriend
So
who is
if a man
demanding.
who is not likely
you
to
get?
put his time to something that will not bring him guaranteed income. I think that answers the question as to
That's
why we
still
have
what we are-
more women. I don't know, but that's my personal
Yes, I
perspective.
think this will lead us to our next question. Like we said, we should ensure we check because, like you just pointed, there might be root causes to these things, and even to choosing the kind of professions that men choose. You notice that they might be more in the engineering space, and then there are some spaces like teaching. You notice that data say they have lesser men because why the pay is smaller, and most men want like bigger pay to be able to take care of their family because of the society that we are in. So it will lead to my next question. How do cultural norms shape the pressures boys and girls face differently in Nigerian home? Now, when we're talking about in Nigerian home, some homes, the men are supposed to, in quotes, be the breadwinners, be the head, be the man. While for the women, some would say, "Oh, you need to get married." So how do cultural norms shape this? And then what do we think is the solution to this, should I call it menace that's been eating into our society? So in time, I want you to share your thoughts to that.
Cultural norms, they run deep, so deep that women are sometimes the gatekeepers of these norms that also puts them at an advantage. No, seriously, because you grow up in a home. The what is obtainable outside is you're a woman, you're already being groomed, a bit taught to behave a certain way. You have to learn to cook, you have to learn to clean, you have to learn to talk some type of way. You go to school, you graduate, then at a certain age, they start saying, get married, get married. And if you end up getting married, the pressure comes in, have kids, have kids. And then when you have kids and you have a job, God forbid your job involves traveling, women will be the first people to call you out. You're always traveling. You're always traveling. Who's taking care of your husband? Who's taking care of the
your
kids?
child.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm speaking from experience, right? My job comes with a lot of travels, not even a lot. I mean, I'm not an air hostess, right? But from time to time, I have to travel.
Travel, yeah.
And before I travel, I ensure that the house is in order. There's more than enough food in the freezer, right? I go all the way down to putting it in smaller packs. Because, when you put in a big bowl, you now put the burden of, the entire thing has to be unfrozen for them to pick up. But you portion it, smaller bowls like that. And on this particular trip, I was away for 1 week, right? And on the day I was to return, my flight was moved from late afternoon to late night flight. So I got in late. And then this unsolicited message from a woman I've never asked anything of came into my phone. You've been away for too long, go. This your job, safe. Why are you traveling? Do and come back to your daughter. And I can't begin to tell you the amount of rage I felt. This is someone I've never asked to look after anything while I'm away. I make sure everything is in order. So why did she feel the need? That's society,
Women supporting women.
that's cultural norms at play. And we see it all the time with our celebrities. I can give
Yes.
you the case of May that is currently ongoing, May Edochie, right? This woman, I don't have details to what has happened in her life and everything, but she's at a point where she's trying to pick up the pieces of her life. She has to take up so many jobs. She's doing a lot. And you find people attacking her. And this is what you wanted. You wanted to come and do prostitution. And now you're traveling. Who is taking care of? You don't know the story behind. You don't know what effort they've put behind. And I'm saying this because women are unconsciously the one carrying this harmful cultural norms. There's a
and they
lot of
perpetuate it
advocacy
against.
that has to go into, educating, reorientating ourselves, even educated people.
True.
Very
You
I
well.
think
agree.
that these things are common among people that are not enlightened, they are not educated. Wait until you start breaking the ceiling they set for you. You're to aspire to this career,
And
but not too much.
do you
You know
get
how Chimamanda will say, we tell to men you can dream, we tell to girls you can dream, but not too much.
Not too
When they
much.
say you can dream, there's actually a cap to
There's-
how much you can
exactly,
dream.
there's a-
Once you start exceeding that cap, the
Oh,
women in your house, the women around you, they'll be the first to start dragging you by your edges.
tell you that, don't you know
It's
you'll
too
get
much.
married? Don't you
It's
know
too
you-
much. It's too much. So
Yeah.
societal norms play a lot of role in this pressure that goes into both men and women. And my fear is that unlike before, men are told to aspire to bigger things, become doctors, become lawyers, but the pressure has now shifted to just provide. Any means possible, provide. And now we're seeing 16-year-olds, going into different forms of crime.
Yahoo and
We're seeing teenagers, at my age, there are things I can't acquire without explaining to my parents how I got them.
Yeah.
I'm working, I get paid, right? But we're seeing a society that allows housewarming parties by 15-year-old boys. There's
Yeah.
no question as to where the
Where you
income
get
is
your
going. And
funds.
that is my fear. The pressure has now left, career aspiration is just provide.
Just have
It's
money.
provide, have
Anyhow,
money.
anyhow you have
the
that
respect now goes to the one who has the
Who has
most
more
money.
money.
We see people doing all kinds of things and nobody is asking questions. I think we should ask ourselves questions, deep questions actually, especially with regards to the boy child. It's unfair that a 15-year-old, a 20-year-old is already feeling like they're a failure.
Exactly.
How?
Comparing their success with a
Just
50
starting.
something
How are you
years
feeling
old.
like you failed
But
already?
the
A-
truth
and
of the
I-
matter is that people are asking questions, but the voice is silent. Like now that we are having this conversation, let's amplify, let's share. You cannot be going on a journey and a dog is barking and you stop to pick stone to throw to different dogs. It's a waste your time. It's a waste of time. So I think let's amplify, let's talk. Let's it's different from you're talking, but you're whispering. People are not hearing you. Nobody will understand. Let's sensitize them. Let them know that that generation is off. Like now, I know I have a neighbor that each time I'll ask, where is he getting money from? And of course we know, crypto is in, content is in, but we know that he's not doing that. At the point I was like, I'm gonna report this boy, and my husband was like, just wait, do research. I said, I don't have time to research him. I have so many things to research on. But the truth of the matter is that he's young and he's, driving big cars, living large, carrying women. And I'm like, no, something is wrong. But if you feel, no, Blessing is not talking, Abdul Malik is not talking, you be the voice. Loud it, if they're not hearing you, go on social
Blow
media.
whistle.
Yes, go there, talk, do a video, share, tell people to reshare. And when the voice is going, there's something I saw. I've forgotten that particular situation where they said everybody must sign a petition against something, and I was like, this is a good one. If everyone goes, if you have like 1,000 petition sign out, that is a good one. So loud the voice. Like this one now that you're like, oh, somebody is, penetrating into your own dealings. It's not our business. Please shut her out first and shut her up too, so that she will know that it's not her business. Then by the time you tell her, not in a bad manner.
Oh, I
let
actually did. I dragged her edges.
Okay, so I want to ask a question. I think I'll be asking Mrs. Ofonime. Yeah. So, what role do parents play in this pressure thing? Because right now, even in some families, you see that father, you see mother, able-bodied, right? They are strong, fit, but they send their young children from 17, 16, 17, 18. They're saying, start providing money. So when they're putting pressure, say, when are you going to feed me, in this
Yeah.
house?
Oh, Sarah have a car. You don't have anything.
So I think we can put a spotlight on that for families. And do you think it's too early for parents to start to push that perspective in their children? And because I think family plays a role in this pressure thing. What is your perspective?
Okay, all right. So thinking of that, in fact, I'm hearing this for the first time, that parents, because while I was growing up, my dad never, in fact, I recall my younger sister getting married and going, and nobody was like,
Start
"Hi."
providing.
No, no, no. Nobody was like, your sister is
Mama,
married.
get
Oh,
married. When
what
are
are
you
you?
getting?
What are you still?
right.
Oh,
You
true.
So
know,
that didn't happen.
and I was the first daughter and first child. I was like, in fact, when the third one was going, it was me that started feeling, hey,
When am I get-
yes, people outside now started reaching out. I hope she's okay, and all that. And that was when the wings started flying, because I had to tell them I have my own style. I have the kind of man I want. Now, going back to parents playing a role in their children, please, if you have that kind of a parent, can you report them?
How,
Please.
how do you go about that?
Yes, you do. You have to report them, please. Bring them
If
out.
we see
Let's
them in our
see.
environment, let's-
Exactly, because if we have them in our environment, of course, I know for you to ask that, that means we do have them.
We do a lot. I mean, it happens even in communities. If you are privileged to go to some of these rural communities, you will see it.
Rural, not urban.
Even
I
in the
think even,
urban,
I think
so
even
So
urban.
let me
Educated
comment. Let me comment. Let me
parents.
comment.
yes,
Let me comment.
yes.
Let me comment. You see, parents are the number one pressure.
I agree.
Parents are the number one pressure. But for some of us, Alhamdulillah,
Exception.
we have parents that are very, very
That they are your
open
friends.
and
They are your
accommodating.
push. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are our friends. I mean, till today, I talk with my dad and mom every day. My dad by 6, most times I wake up. When I wake up by 6, it's my dad that is calling me. How far? What's happening? When I call my mom, how far? Babe, waiting there happen. I speak pidgin to her. We banter, we laugh, we can talk whatsoever. I'm planning something. We go up and down with my mom virtually every day. But it's not the same with everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one of our biggest challenge.
And-
I mean, because why will a 16-year-old boy, and Sam was talking about, why will a 16-year-old boy, 15-year-old boy buy a Mercedes Benz that is 20 million,
the
50
parents will
million,
allow him
and the
come in.
parents are smiling?
Without
Hey,
dancing, doing
to
test-
God be the
As in-
glory. My son just
Doing Thanksgiving.
No
Your
questions.
daughter is
Yes.
outside. You don't even know
The
one
source.
single. You don't know her source of income.
Nothing.
Every time she's sending money to you, you are just living large, and you are not asking the question, where are you getting this money? Right? So parents have a lot of responsibility, and
questions.
sincerely speaking, society right now, we are leaving a lot of our responsibility to whoever. We are not really taking our responsibility as it should, on the side of the parent, on the side of the society. I mean, growing up, you're a child of everybody in the community.
Yeah.
They said
When you do something
everybody
wrong,
trains a child.
somebody will
Exactly.
correct you. Hey, hello, you don't do this thing, or
They'll
they will carry
correct you and
cane and
report to
flog
your
you, or carry you
parents.
and go and report you to your parent. Today, is it your child? Now you born am for
Exactly.
me.
So parents' attitude
So
have changed.
it's a lot. While we are trying to be in vogue, we are
Gen Z.
trending parents, right? We sincerely need to check our morals, right? If you are a man or woman of the book, please go back to the book, understand the book, right? And also, I mean, morality cut across every strata. While I know that it's subjective, right? But what is moral is moral, right? And we should sincerely begin to ask ourselves, is this thing right? Either on the side of the parent or on the side of the children. Because I know someone that went into early marriage, not early, what the person was old enough, but not really ready for marriage.
Ready.
But the person got married because of the pressure
pressure.
at home. She just wanted to escape from that pressure. And we see a lot of them.
Some parents
And-
even say they tell the girls, when you get to this age, leave my house. I don't care
You understand?
how you are going to do. Or
Yes, and some of these pressures can be very subtle. For instance, you see
Oh, yeah.
parents comparing. So you see, let's say you have a friend, Jennifer, she's married or she's getting things, having a car doing, and then you see this comparison. She's like, blessing, is she not your friend? Look at what your friend is doing. As a man, your friend has a G-Wagon. What are you doing? You went to the same school, not knowing what this child or this person is doing to get this money. And just like that movie, you will go and ask boss how you take back.
show me way. Cut so for me.
Exactly, because I can do
Right.
anything. I want to be like you. And before you know, this your child will be like him and will do anything he does. And that's why we hear ritual killings and
Absolutely.
different just to make
So
money.
I think Abdul Malik was
Yeah,
saying
I
something
think
to-
when it comes to the parental this thing, it's really a problem, because we see parents going as far as immediately they give birth to their children, they already have a planned future for that. That's pressure.
Perspective.
I want you to be this, I want you to be
Doctor.
that.
You must study
You
this
know,
course.
you must study this, you must study. That's pressure from a boy's perspective. And from a girl's perspective, go and enter kitchen, go and join your mom, to cook, go and sweep this place, go and sweep. So it's something that needs to be looked into. And you made mention of reporting. Now, when reporting, there's one thing I've come to understand, that you are trying to create a positive change, but it will end up having a backlash on that kid. You as a bystander, when you report, the person that is doing the harm to the kid will end up going back and going back and putting more pressure or physical, leading to abuse self, to the kid. So these things are critical and sensitive, especially when it comes to the parent child
Relationship.
Okay.
relationship.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's look at the pressure in terms of parents putting it on their children that they have a planned future for them, or this is how you live your life, or trying to control them.
So
So,
thank you so much. Okay.
all right,
Yes,
sorry,
Ofanime.
I'll just add that the truth is that I think we should educate parents, So now we should leave the rave of, technology this, technology that, and go bring in the parents, talk to them, in also in faith-based organization, we can do that, reach out to them, talk to them, let them know that pressure is, both sided. And from there, I think we'll be able to create a positive angle to this topic.
Wow, thank you so much for that. And it's like you're just taking the words out of my mouth because that's like the final question I would like to ask this beautiful panelist today. Now, we've been talking a whole lot about pressure. Now, the final question for each and every one of you is what can our parents, the school, and the society do differently
Mm-hmm.
starting from today to create this balance that we've all been talking about? So I think we'll start with Nsem and run it down. Thank you.
Okay, so two things. The reorientation, the conversations like this, amplify it. And then secondly, we should also understand that times have changed. When I said 15-year-old with unverifiable income, because we have to be careful also about the narrative we're also shaping,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have different ways of making money these days. People, I mean, if you're a creator, you know how much YouTube pays
Yeah, a
subscribers, and
lot.
that's why everybody is rushing to put their movies on YouTube. You know how much TikTok pays,
To subscribe to
Content.
users
content.
and stuff like that. So I think we have to have this conversation that times have changed and people need to have an understanding of the times we're in. Explain to these people the different means of making income, career path, all of that. The point is always know that your child's well-being or anything is verifiable, right? And don't be part of the pressure. Don't be the person that pushes him into a character, pushes him to act out of character because he wants to satisfy
To
you.
make money. Thank you so much. So yeah, Nampak.
For me, while it is said that it's true that times are changing, we need to be true to ourselves. What is that very thing that will outlive us? What will you want to be remembered for? If you want to be remembered for whatsoever it is, do your best to do that which is right at the end of the day. For parents, please, your children are not money making factory, so don't pressure them. Both your boy child and your girl child, they are all humans, so treat them as humans, not on the basis of their gender. For society, the same thing. I mean, for everyone, when you see someone, treat that person first of all as a human. So afford him or her the same opportunity, the same privilege, so that they can be the best of themselves. Right? When we do that, I believe that we will have a better society where everyone is informed and also alive to their reality, right? Because our reality is different. So everyone is alive to their reality and they are able to work within their means to pull through.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for saying that. We need to ensure that we treat each and every one as human, not on the basis of their gender. Beautiful. So yes, Abdul Malik.
So I look at the problem in three phases. The first one being lack of education, or lack of awareness rather. The second one be it hunger, and then the icing on the cake be it money. So this is the root cause of, I believe this is the root cause of all the challenges we are facing. What needs to be done in terms of that is to create is to create a space, be it in school, create a space to have these particular conversations. What can we do? Like this one we're having now, you amplify it. And from a family perspective, I would say take away your screen time. At least give an hour or 2 hours a day to just sit down
Family time.
and sort your problems out as a family. If we get it right, have this conversation with your siblings, with your parents. No matter how tough it is, make sure that you're hard, and make sure that they get what you're trying to say without bringing in emotion into it. I believe if we start along this line, we'll get somewhere fruitful.
Thank you so much for that. And finally, we'll have Ofenime.
All right. So thank you. From my own perspective, I think in fact we should start from the family. You know, the parents should be able to be friendly with their kids, know what their kids want, do a research on your kid, not just necessarily because you're a lawyer and you want your child, especially your daughter, to be a lawyer, because we all feel, oh, girls are more, they're more calmer than boys. That's effect. So I also think our faith-based organization can actually do more. That time that a preacher uses to preach to the organization, to the community, from there they can start, telling,
The message.
yes, sending out the message, or create a forum where parents come in and you ask them questions about the future of their children. From there you'll be able to detect what the parent is planning for the kids, and also separate the kids and the parents. Find out what the children want, find out what the parents want, so that we will be able to set, we'll set a line and also match that line. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. We've had a beautiful conversation talking about the pressures that both face. And one key thing we learned today is the family. It's very important. Once we get it right from the family, then the society will become safe. And Samuel, I don't know if you'd like to share some thoughts to that.
So for me, like I've enjoyed the conversation so far. Thank you to our panelists. And so one thing is we must have empathy, as is people, organization, society, put people first. And, just say the right things, do the right things, make people feel at home. Let's not force people into crime and all of those things. I think this is what will make our society great and cause change effectively. So beautiful conversation.
Okay, so thank you so much. And thank you for our panelists, amazing panelists, for Nsem, to Nampak, Abdul Malik, and Ofonime. We're really grateful.
Yeah, and so this is not the last time we're going to be having these conversations. So just follow Owllup social media platforms, YouTube, and just watch these conversations and just stay in touch. Don't touch the dial. We're coming with more conversations that will create change in our society.
And we're inviting you to join us on Saturday for a more insightful conversations where we'll be having the Owllup Exchange. And we hope that you'll be there to come share your voice and come share your idea on how you think we should shape our society. Okay, so on behalf of the Owllup team, I am Blessing Iyare.
And my name is Samuel. See you next time.